So particle emitter is something you can adjust the box, only goes up, cylinder, and this is actually the shape of the emitter. So cylinder, disc. So if you notice disc and box is kind of the same, but it's how the particle goes out. So this one is kind of on the disc shape, and this one is on the box shape, which is kind of obvious. And sphere is trying to create a sphere like it goes, how would we say it? It goes in a circular, but it also goes on the x-axis, z-axis, y-axis. So it goes in every axis, but and it tries to create the sphere. So only goes outward, but you can also go in and out, which means it also goes in the different direction. But this is mostly noticeable on, hold on. This is mostly noticeable on if you're not facing it on the base plate, and noticeable on box and disc. So there's an in and out there, and inward is obviously just the opposite of the inward. So we're gonna use sphere in our on our tutorial because this is much more closer to sparkle. Now, what we want to do is to adjust lifetime. So if like let's check that out first. So lifetime is how far it would go before dying out. So let's put in the max is 5. And if we put min on also max, this means it's consistently going to the 5 before it died down. But let's say we put in 3, that this means that before it goes here, some particles died down around here, if you notice that. So some are going up here, but some are really dying out here. So that's the lifetime. So it's minimum of 3 and maximum of 5. Sometimes the balls just die down in 3, but sometimes it died down 5. And rotation speed is, you won't notice this right away because you don't have rotation speed. So rotation speed is somewhere like this. You notice there is a rotation. So even if you have, like, let's say negative 180 degrees, if you have zero rotation speed, rod speed or rotation speed, it's not gonna rotate. So maybe just put on 100 here, and you'd see that it's gonna try to rotate. And the speed the speed is similar to rate, but more on how fast it would travel. Uh, how would I describe that? So how speed is how fast it travels, and rate is actually the number of, we can say, the number of particles. So I put in rate, this means it's producing much more particles, but the speed is what actually gives it like the version of fast. So if you want something random, you can adjust the min to a lower value and the speed to a higher value, which means some would go on 5 speed and some would go on a very, very fast pace. And what the most important factor on particle emitter is you can also change the texture. So let's just use this base plate for example, because this has texture. I put something like that, then I have the texture of the base plate. So imagine what you can do on this. So you can change this to electricity. You can even change it to um, images if you want to. So this means that there's a lot of options out there. So we already tackled smoke, fire, and we created an explosion out of it. And then plus this with a particle emitter of electricity, then you have an electricity going out. So imagine how you can do something on your particle emitter. You can even have glowing lights. And most good factor on it is if you enlarge the part, then every part of that part is doing a particle emitter. Albeit the only downside on this is the larger the part, the shape doesn't really matter that much anymore. But you can still go with, if you want it to go up, use it on the box. This is just an advice from me to you. If you want it to go up, just use the box. If you want it to go down, just use the disc. And if you want it to go sideways, just use the sphere. Sphere, then outward. So sideways, sphere outward, and then if you want it to go up, box outward. If you want to go down, disc inward. And yeah, I hope you learned something in this video and catch you on the next video. Bye bye.